Hello, everyone. Welcome to Learn English podcast.
How to challenge yourself to speak English as your daily habit. Learn English through podcast.
Speaking English as your daily habit is not just a method, it is a lifestyle. And if you are a young learner who is truly serious about improving your English, then you must understand that the biggest challenge is not about memorizing grammar rules or collecting new vocabulary, but about building the courage, the discipline, and the daily commitment to actually use the language every single day. Because fluency is not something that comes from reading one book or watching one video. Fluency is the result of daily practice, daily mistakes, and daily growth. And this is why challenging yourself to speak English as a daily habit is the most powerful strategy you can follow. Because when something becomes a habit, you no longer need to force yourself. You no longer depend on motivation. You simply do it naturally, just like brushing your teeth, eating breakfast, or checking your phone. And if you can make English speaking as natural as those habits, then fluency is guaranteed, because your brain learns language not by theory, but by repetition. And the more you use English in real life, the faster your brain adapts and the more confident you become. And I want you to imagine this. Every time you speak English, even if it is just to yourself, even if it is only for 2 minutes, you are giving your brain a workout. You are strengthening your speaking muscles. You are training your tongue, your mouth, and your ears to move naturally with the rhythm of English. And over time, this small daily challenge grows into a massive improvement. And suddenly, one day, you realize you are no longer afraid to speak. You are no longer searching for words. You are no longer translating in your head. You are simply speaking, because English has become part of your daily identity. And that is the real secret to fluency. Not magic, not shortcuts, but consistent daily use. Now the question is, how do you actually challenge yourself to make speaking English a daily habit? And the answer is to remove all excuses and replace them with strategies. Because many young people say, I don't have anyone to practice with, or I am too shy to speak to others, or I don't know what to say. But technology has destroyed those excuses, because today you can practice speaking English with podcasts, with AI chatbots, with language exchange apps, and even with yourself. And one of the most powerful tools you can use is podcasts, because podcasts give you natural conversation, real pronunciation, and authentic rhythm. And when you listen to podcasts every day, you are training your ears. But if you combine listening with speaking, you unlock true progress. And this is where the challenge begins, because instead of just listening passively, you must make it active. You must shadow the speaker. You must repeat what you hear out loud. You must pause the podcast and try to imitate the voice, the tone, the speed, and the energy. And at first, you will feel strange, maybe even uncomfortable, but this is the exact moment growth begins, because speaking is like exercising a muscle. The first time it feels heavy, the second time it feels hard, but with repetition, it becomes easier, and soon your mouth and tongue adapt, your pronunciation improves, and your confidence grows. And this is why podcasts are more than just listening tools. They are speaking partners. They are daily coaches. They are reminders that English must live inside your daily routine, not outside it. And if you are young and serious about fluency, you should make a promise to yourself right now. Every single day, I will listen to at least 10 minutes of an English podcast, and I will speak at least 5 minutes out loud, no matter where I am, no matter how busy I am, because once you make that promise and stick to it, English becomes unstoppable in your life. One powerful way to build this habit is through self-talk, which means speaking to yourself in English throughout the day, because many young learners wait for the perfect partner, the perfect class, the perfect environment. But the truth is, you already have the best partner with you at all times, yourself. And when you practice self-talk, you eliminate fear because no one is judging you, no one is laughing at you, no one is correcting you. It is just you and your voice. And this gives you freedom to practice anytime, anywhere. And the challenge is simple. Narrate your life in English. Describe what you are doing, what you are thinking, what you are planning. For example, if you are cooking, say out loud, I am cutting the vegetables, I am boiling water, I am frying the chicken. If you are walking to school, say, I am walking down the street, I see people around me, the weather is hot today. And if you are thinking about your goals, say, I want to improve my English, I want to travel, I want to pass my exam. And the more you do this, the more natural it becomes, because you are forcing your brain to think directly in English instead of translating from your native language. And once you master this skill, speaking to others will become much easier because you already trained your brain to process thoughts in English. And this is why self-talk is one of the most effective challenges you can give yourself, because it transforms English from a subject you study into a language you live. But to keep the habit alive, you need to make it fun and challenging. And one way to do that is by setting daily speaking goals, like recording yourself speaking for 2 minutes every day. And don't worry about mistakes. Don't worry about sounding perfect. Just speak about your day, your feelings, your dreams, or even summarize the podcast you just listened to. And if you do this daily, you will have hundreds of recordings after a few months. And when you listen back, you will hear your improvement. You will notice your pronunciation becoming clearer, your sentences becoming longer, your confidence becoming stronger. And this motivates you to keep going because progress is addictive. And once you see it, you want more. And another challenge you can try is joining online speaking clubs or discussion groups where young learners practice English together. And thanks to technology, you can join these clubs through Zoom, Discord, or even language apps. And every time you participate, you break a little more of your fear, you gain a little more courage, and you build the habit of using English in real communication. And the secret is consistency, because speaking once a week is not enough. Speaking once a month is useless. But speaking every day, even for 5 minutes, is life-changing, because habits are built daily, not occasionally. And here's another powerful truth. If you want English to become your daily habit, you must connect it to something you already love. Because when you connect language learning to your passion, it no longer feels like work. It feels like joy. So if you love music, sing English songs out loud every day. If you love movies, imitate the dialogues. If you love gaming, talk to other players in English. If you love sports, comment on matches in English. And if you love podcasts, repeat what the speakers say. Argue with them. Add your own opinion. Because the more you connect English to what excites you, the more naturally it becomes part of your daily life. And this is the key to building a sustainable habit. Not forcing yourself, but enjoying yourself. Not punishing yourself, but rewarding yourself. And when you fall in love with the process, fluency becomes inevitable. And once you start enjoying the process, once you stop looking at English as homework and start seeing it as part of your lifestyle, that is when the real transformation happens. Because you no longer ask yourself, do I feel like speaking today? Or am I motivated to practice today? You simply do it automatically. Just like you drink water when you're thirsty. Just like you check your phone without thinking. And this automatic behavior is the definition of habit. And when English becomes automatic, fluency becomes inevitable. And to reach this point, you must constantly challenge yourself with new levels, because habits grow stronger when they are tested. So if you always speak to yourself in simple sentences, push yourself to add more details. If you always speak slowly, challenge yourself to speak faster. If you always repeat podcasts, challenge yourself to speak about your own ideas without a script.
because progress comes from stretching your limits. And each time you challenge yourself, you expand your comfort zone. And soon, you realize that what once felt difficult is now easy. And this cycle of challenge and growth is what makes daily speaking practice so powerful.
One effective challenge you can give yourself is the 24-hour English day, where you decide that for one full day you will only think, speak, and even write in English. And during that day, you will narrate your actions. You will speak to your friends in English if they agree. You will write your notes in English. You will text in English. And even if you make mistakes, you will not allow yourself to switch back to your native language. And at first, this will feel exhausting, but by the end of the day, you will notice how much your brain has adapted, how much faster your thoughts flow, and how much more comfortable you are with English. And if you repeat this challenge once a week or once a month, your progress will be dramatic, and you will begin to see English not as a foreign language, but as a natural part of your daily life. Another challenge is the Podcast Shadow Challenge, where you choose one English podcast episode and shadow it every day for 1 week, repeating the speaker's words, imitating their pronunciation, and trying to match their rhythm. And by the end of the week, you will sound more natural, you will feel more confident, and you will have absorbed dozens of new expressions. And these small challenges, repeated consistently, create huge results over time, because small daily actions multiplied by time equal massive transformation. And this is the secret that many young learners ignore. They wait for big opportunities, big teachers, or big classes. But the truth is that greatness is built through small habits, repeated every single day. But we also need to talk about the mental challenge, because one of the biggest obstacles young learners face is fear. The fear of making mistakes, the fear of sounding stupid, the fear of being judged. But let me tell you something important. Every fluent speaker you admire today was once a beginner who made thousands of mistakes. And the only difference between them and those who gave up is that they did not let fear stop them. They turned fear into fuel. And this is what you must do as well. Because every time you speak English and make a mistake, you are not failing, you are learning. And every time you feel nervous but speak anyway, you are building courage. And courage is more important than perfection, because perfection does not exist, but courage creates growth. And when you challenge yourself to speak daily, you are not only training your mouth, you are training your mind to overcome fear. And this mental strength will help you not only in English, but in every area of your life, because the habit of speaking daily teaches you discipline, resilience, and confidence. And these qualities are the foundation of success. To make this challenge sustainable, you must design your environment in a way that supports your habit, because habits grow when the environment makes them easy and obvious. So place reminders around you, like sticky notes in English on your desk. Set alarms on your phone that remind you to speak. Subscribe to English podcasts so they appear automatically. Follow English learning channels on YouTube so they show up in your feed. And change the language of your phone and apps to English so you are constantly surrounded by it. Because when English is everywhere around you, you cannot ignore it, and your brain starts to accept it as normal. And this environmental design removes resistance, because you don't need to search for English, it comes to you automatically. And that makes speaking daily much easier, because every reminder is an invitation to open your mouth and practice. Another key is accountability, because when you keep a challenge to yourself, it is easy to quit. But when you share your challenge with others, you feel responsible to continue. So tell your friends, your classmates, or even your social media followers that you are challenging yourself to speak English every day. Record short videos of your practice and share them online, or join a group where members encourage each other, because accountability multiplies motivation. And when others see your progress, you will feel proud, and that pride will push you to continue. And slowly, your habit becomes part of your identity. You are no longer someone who studies English, you are someone who lives English. And that identity shift is the ultimate goal, because once your identity changes, your actions naturally follow. And remember, daily speaking practice does not mean long hours. It means consistency. So even if you only speak for 5 minutes a day, if you do it every day for 1 year, that is over 30 hours of speaking practice. And if you increase to 15 minutes a day, that is over 90 hours in a year. And imagine how much more fluent and confident you will be after 90 hours of speaking. And the best part is that it doesn't feel like a big burden because it is broken into small daily pieces. And this is why habits are so powerful. They allow you to achieve big results through small, consistent actions. And your only job is to start today, to take the first small step, and to never stop. Now let's connect this with podcasts again, because podcasts are not just for listening, they are for living. And one amazing challenge you can try is the Podcast Reflection Challenge, where after listening to a short podcast episode, you immediately record yourself summarizing what you heard, giving your opinion, or even disagreeing with the speaker. And this practice forces you to think, organize, and speak in English. And it transforms passive listening into active speaking. And the more you do this, the sharper your brain becomes, the faster your speaking becomes, and the more natural your fluency grows. And this is why podcasts are one of the most powerful tools for young learners today, because they are free, they are everywhere, they are on every topic you can imagine, and they can turn every moment of your day into a learning opportunity. And when you combine them with the daily habit of speaking, your progress is unstoppable. So my message to every young learner listening to this is simple. Challenge yourself. Stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop thinking that fluency will come magically one day, because fluency comes only to those who practice daily, who face their fears, who create habits, and who never give up. And you have all the tools. You have all the opportunities. You have podcasts, apps, AI, social media, self-talk, and accountability. So there are no excuses left. The only question is whether you are willing to accept the challenge, to commit to the habit, to transform your lifestyle. And if you do, I promise you, one day you will look back and realize that the small daily habit you started today became the foundation of a lifetime of opportunities, friendships, success, and confidence, all because you made the decision to speak English daily and never stop.
And here is another truth you must understand. Challenges are not supposed to feel comfortable. They are designed to stretch you, to push you beyond your normal limits, to make you sweat, to make you stumble. And that is why they produce growth. Because if you only do what feels easy, you will only stay where you are. But when you take on challenges that feel hard, that scare you, that make you nervous, that is when you grow. That is when your English grows, and that is when your confidence grows. So whenever you feel resistance, whenever you feel your heart beating fast before speaking, whenever you feel your mind searching for excuses not to practice, Recognize that moment as the exact place where growth happens. Because your brain is trying to protect you from discomfort, but you must train your brain to accept discomfort, to welcome it, to even enjoy it, because discomfort is the sign that you are improving. And every young person who wants to master English must learn this lesson early, that growth lives on the other side of fear. Another challenge that works powerfully is the mirror talk challenge, where you stand in front of a mirror and talk to yourself in English for 5 to 10 minutes, not only to practice speaking, but also to practice confidence. Because looking at yourself while speaking English forces you to confront your own fears, your own mistakes, and your own hesitation. And as you do this daily, you begin to see yourself as someone who is confident, someone who can speak fluently, someone who is growing. And this shift in self-image is priceless, because when you see yourself differently, the world begins to see you differently too. Now imagine if you combined all these small challenges, the podcast shadowing, the daily narration, the mirror talk, the 24-hour English day, the recording and reflection, the accountability group, and you weave them into your lifestyle. Imagine the person you will become in 1 year. Not someone who occasionally studies English, but someone who lives English every single day. Someone who wakes up with English, works with English, learns with English, and even dreams in English. And at that point, English is no longer a subject, it is part of your identity. And that is the ultimate goal. Because when English becomes your identity, fluency is permanent. Confidence is permanent, and opportunities flow naturally toward you. And yes, it will take effort. Yes, it will take discipline. Yes, it will take courage. But every great achievement in history has been built on effort, discipline, and courage. And you, as a young learner, have the perfect opportunity right now to build those qualities. Not only for English, but for your entire future. Because the habits you build with English, daily practice, consistent challenges, resilience against fear, these habits will make you stronger in every area of life. Whether it is your studies, your career, your relationships, or your dreams. And here is the conclusion, the heart of this message. Challenging yourself to speak English daily is not just about learning a language, it is about building a lifestyle of growth. It is about training your brain to overcome fear. It is about transforming your habits. It is about developing the courage to face discomfort. And it is about preparing yourself for a future full of opportunities. Because English is more than words, it is a bridge, a key, a passport to connect you with the world, to open doors that were once closed, to give you access to knowledge, to friendships, to careers, to experiences that you can't even imagine yet. And all of this begins with one simple decision, the decision to make speaking English your daily habit. No excuses, no waiting, no fear. Just action every single day. So if you're a young person listening to this right now, I challenge you directly. Starting today, speak English daily, even for just 5 minutes. Even if you are alone, even if you are afraid, even if you make mistakes, do it anyway and keep doing it until it becomes automatic, until it becomes part of who you are. Because if you accept this challenge, if you live this habit, your future will be brighter, your confidence will be unshakable, and your fluency will be unstoppable. And one day, you will thank yourself for the decision you made today.